So this is the walkthrough for this particular exercise. The question paper should be with you. If you need to refer to the diagram for the first part of the question, the diagram is on this slide. For this question, the important thing here is to have specific data mapped to each of the graphs that you're describing, because the data is given on the graph itself, so you have to map this out or you will not score full marks. The essence for this second part, part 2, is to state the difference in consumption of DC and LDC in vegetable protein and meat protein. Then you have to link which is LDC, which is the DC between North America and Asia. So in conclusion, you also have to indicate somewhere in your answer that the emphasis is on the level of affluence. For part 3, you need to figure out where Europe and South America will be in terms of development, state of development in 15 years time. So Europe will definitely be even more developed, and South America will actually reach a point where they are rapidly developing. So the consumption of meat protein, vegetable protein, it will be corresponding for these two projections in 15 years time. The common problem for this question is many students misread food safety in a country, and they see the word food and they assume it's food security. Okay, food security is about food and agricultural policy. This is on food safety. So you need to talk about things like making sure food is safe and clean food is available for the public, HSA, hawker classification, checks by the government, education for food providers, etc. For part 1, the economic effect, you can talk about it being lower productivity when you explain what lower productivity actually means, or you can talk about redirecting resources due to insufficient food consumption and how by redirecting resources away into healthcare from other locations, government lower your economic development. Now for this one, intensification normally means the inclusion of two main things, technology and chemical fertilizers. So talk about how these can actually hurt the environment that you're in, either through eutrophication or through soil bleaching. Okay, this is the typical how far do you agree style of open-ended questions. So a couple of key things: you have to take a stand, you have to explain the given factor here, which is obesity. Then you have to focus on obesity in the developed world. Who gets affected by this? Why is it that they get affected by this? This is important. So take a look at the first two parts here first. Now after you have talked about that, you go on to the contrast factor, which is LDC. How can people in LDC be obese? Is it a large group? Is it a small group? Who are these people who, despite the general population being in a state of malnutrition, they are in a state of obesity? Okay, then you conclude, and the key point to bring out in conclusion is that obesity plays an economic group, not at the level of development in a country. So once again, this paper is a typical type of question that you will see in food and resources for your exam. It is not terribly difficult, however, it is tricky in that some of the words used may incur you to think of other points that is unrelated and therefore unnecessary. So key takeaway of this after marking through is you need to be more careful when you read the questions. Okay, that's all. Subscribe.